Friends, welcome. I'm truly excited to be here with all of you today. We've gathered to discuss one of life's most crucial lessons, learning to focus solely on what genuinely matters. In this crazy, hectic world we live in, it's all too easy to get swept up in the unimportant, the trivial, the meaningless. We chase after shiny objects, allow distractions to consume us, and end up missing out on what counts. But here's the thing. When you look back on your life one day, you won't remember most of the trivial pursuits that once seemed so pressing. You'll remember the moments that mattered, the people you loved, the goals you achieved, the ways you grew as a human being. That's what sticks with us. So how do we reorient our lives to cut out the noise and zero in on the signal? How do we identify and prioritize what truly deserves our energy and attention? It starts with taking a step back to gain some perspective. Ask yourself, what is my greatest ambition in life? What fire burns deepest within me? What legacy do I wish to leave behind? Maybe it's providing for your family and giving your children every opportunity. Maybe it's achieving excellence in your field and making your mark. Maybe it's contributing something of value to the world. Whatever that core driving force is, that's what matters most. Everything else is just detours and distractions, pulling you off course. Of course, we all have responsibilities and can't simply discard anything that doesn't perfectly align with our central purpose. But we can start prioritizing differently. Too often, we treat the fundamentally important things as urgent crises demanding our attention and energy. We exhaust ourselves putting out fires that weren't burning anything of value to begin with. Meanwhile, the things that truly matter get shoved aside and neglected, as obsessing over trivial workplace. Politics really deserves so much of your life force. Do the petty squabbles and dramas within your social circle enrich your life in any lasting way? Does spending hours doom scrolling through negative news and social media actually improve your situation? Of course not. These are all empty calories that leave you feeling drained with nothing to show for it. You can't get that time back. Time better spent cultivating your highest ambition and nurturing what matters most. So start thinking more critically about how you'll allocate your most precious resources, your time, energy, and focus. What deserves your best? What will you regret not prioritizing years down the line? That's what you need to ruthlessly commit yourself to. Does this mean never relaxing or savoring any momentary pleasures in life? No, balance and rejuvenation are important too. But there's a vast difference between indulging in small respites to recharge and allowing yourself to get hopelessly mired in activities devoid of meaning or lasting value. The stakes here are immense. If you stay on your current path, constantly leaking your vigor into activities out of alignment with your core purpose, what will you have to show for it all in the end? Will you look back with deep regret and lament over the opportunity cost and what could have been? Or will you be able to look back with profound satisfaction, knowing that you dedicated the precious resources of your very existence to what mattered most? It's not to say you'll achieve perfection, but you'll know you spent your life climbing in the right direction rather than wandering aimlessly. Now, I don't pretend this is easy. Aligning your daily existence with your highest ideals and ambitions is one of life's greatest challenges. Our instincts are tragically mismatched for this task. Our primal brains are wired to crave immediate gratification, not long-term fulfillment. The path of least resistance is to indulge our basest impulses. Laziness, gluttony, vanity. To squander our finite energies on cheap thrills rather than effortful progress towards something greater. In moments of weariness or weakness, it's so tempting to say, the heck with it. I'll work out here because I've earned it. And before you know it, one indulgent sidestep leads to another. One day blurs into weeks and months and years of coasting rather than striving. We've all fallen victim to this trap in some capacity. Momentary pleasures are like a siren song luring us off course. I've certainly been there more times than I can count. Well, you need to ask yourself, would you trade your greatest ambition, your highest principles and values, for a few fleeting moments of empty indulgence? What you're gambling is your entire life's potential. Yes, that's the insidious nature of distraction. It masquerades as harmless and inconsequential in the short term while rotting away your life force. So you must cultivate fierce discipline and crystal clear discernment to avoid sacrificing what matters most. You have to get ruthlessly selfish about protecting and nurturing your noblest aims. You have to develop the strength to just say no to detours and derailers, no matter how alluring they may seem in the heat of the moment, because the rewards for staying true to your highest ideals, you're nothing short of profound, not just a life well lived, but a life of ever-increasing joy, richness, growth, and adventure. A life brimming with hard-earned pride and self-respect. A life that matters in ways that will echo through time. Ask yourself, do the costs of constant distraction and dissipation seem worth it when compared to that alternative? Are you willing to forfeit the chance to live up to your highest ideals and potential just for a few cheap, on-demand dopamine hits that leave you feeling hollow inside? You all have an incredible power within you. The power of focused energy, when you can take all the mental, physical, emotional fuel you're gifted each day and channel it towards a concentrated purpose, you become an unstoppable force. Obstacles shatter before your indomitable will. Meaningful progress gets made while others stagnate. Just look at everything great pioneers, innovators, and creators have achieved through sheer focus alone. While the masses frittered away their stamina on the endless distractions of the day, a few clear-eyed visionaries marshaled all their energy into breaking through barriers. Ultimately, that's how everything of lasting importance gets created in this world. Bringing something new and meaningful into existence requires sacrificing all those diffused momentary cravings on the altar of a singular, all-consuming aim. You can spend your life dispersing yourself to the winds day by day, or you can detonate it like a laser beam focused through a magnifying glass. One path leads to idle dissipation, the other to impact that echoes across time. So make a decision right here, right now. Will you keep riding wherever the currents of momentary impulses pull you, or will you seize the helm of your life force and channel it with rigid discipline towards what ignites your soul? Will you keep leaking your vigor out in all directions until you've got nothing left to show for your fine existence? Or will you become a conqueror, vanquishing the endless lures of distraction and marshaling all your might in service of mastering your path? In the end, you alone have the power to choose. No one can make this choice for you. You get to decide what matters most, then rise to the challenge of single-mindedly devoting yourself to actualizing that ambition against all odds. Let me warn you, you're going to face intense temptation and resistance along this path. There's a reason so few people ever truly live up to their highest potential and aspirations. Our entire environment and culture is rigged to seduce us into sacrifice. Sacrificing our dreams on the altar of indulgence and mediocrity. We're constantly pelted with messages, convincing us to disperse our life force in a million different empty directions. We're flooded with cheap entertainment and garish stimuli calibrated to light up the novelty and pleasure centers in our brains. We're barraged with opportunities for effortless hedonism and deferred responsibility packaged as just this once indulgences. But here's the problem, that once turns into a constant drip, lovery, or dissipation until we've completely lost our way. We think we can indulge and get right back on track, but it's a lie. It's those constant micro-compromises accumulate in insidious ways until we realize we've wandered miles off course and lost sight of our original aim. But if that cautionary tale fills you with dread, take heart, because you don't have to be a slave to your impulses and the gravitational pull of easy distraction. You can break free and own your path with supreme discipline and intention. The first step is clearly defining what matters most to you. What's the overriding ambition or purpose that fires your soul and inspires you to keep evolving? For me personally, it's sharing insights to help people achieve their ultimate potential and create lives of profound richness. That's the sun my entire life orbits around. Every decision I make, every investment of my time and energy gets filtered through that prism. I don't disperse myself across a million different directions. I channel everything into that central aim like a laser beam. It's because here's the reality. I'm trying to juggle multiple conflicting aims and ambitions is a recipe for inertia and mediocrity. You'll end up spreading yourself way too thin and excelling at nothing in particular. It's far better to go all in on your greatest ambition and accept you can't be amazing at everything else. For me, that means happily sacrificing certain hobbies and pastimes that don't propel me towards my primary mission. It means enduring personal inconveniences that conflict with my ultimate aim. It means passing up certain lucrative opportunities and associations that could derail me. Does it hurt to forgo those things in the heat of the moment? You bet. Every single day I feel that pull a short-term gratification luring me off the path. Every day is a battle against complacency and compromise. But here's the secret. That pain gets easier and easier to embrace when you stay focused on the long-term reward. Every trivial sacrifice gets dwarfed by the profound satisfaction of ultimate victory. As you get closer and closer to actualizing your grandest ambition, everything else seems more and more trivial by comparison. So find your central purpose, your low-star ambition, and hold it front and center as you make decisions about where to invest your precious time and vigor. Filter every opportunity through that lens. If it serves no higher purpose other than momentary distraction, show discipline and let it pass you by. But if some pursuit or experience will tangibly propel you towards manifesting your vision, then seize it with inspiring fervor. Immerse yourself fully. Grow and stretch yourself. You may endure short-term pains and sacrifices, but they'll be eclipsed by the lasting glory of achievement. Reality leans towards those with laser-like focus and unshakable perseverance in pursuit of their aim. Now let's address the fear that's likely creeping into many of your minds. But what if I commit everything to one ambition, and it doesn't ultimately pan out? What if I sacrifice all those other paths and pleasures just to fall short of my loftiest goal? Won't I just have a lifetime of regret and emptiness? It's a valid and natural fear to have. And after all, failure is always a possibility whenever you take on any ambitious aim. Whenever you step up to bat, you risk striking out. Not everyone can be crowned a champion. But here's why that fear misses a crucial point. No progress towards a worthy ambition is ever wasted or lost. Even if you ultimately fall short of total victory in that arena, you'll have grown immensely as a human being through the struggles and efforts undertaken. You'll have expanded your capabilities and perspectives in ways that create a richer life regardless of any fleeting outcomes still along the way. You'll have tasted rarefied experiences, embraced adventures, and stretched yourself to new heights that will reverberate through the rest of your existence. That journey of struggle and striving remakes you in its image, elevating your appreciation and scope. You'll have forged friendships and connections with remarkably driven people you'd have never encountered otherwise. You'll have tasted the addictive nectar of manifesting your will and creativity in the world. Those memories and transformations stay with you, even if you never fully cross the finish line. More importantly, that entire saga of efforts will have revealed new layers of latent potential within you, strengths and aptitudes you may have never unlocked otherwise. You'll rebuild yourself into a bigger, better version of your former identity. And with those newly expanded tools and capacities, you can pivot directions into whatever new worthy ambition calls to you next. So don't fixate on temporary perceived failures or setbacks. Don't limit not achieving perfection this time around. That gritty reality is how true growth occurs. Very little transcendent in this life gets accomplished without facing major setbacks along the way. Successful people overcome more nightmares than most people even dare to attempt in pursuit of their dreams. Difficulty and frustration aren't problems to be avoided. They're tuition for becoming the wiser, stronger, more capable version of yourself required to ascend further towards your highest aims and ambitions. So get comfortable with discomfort. Get familiar with facing down fear and adversity. Get practiced as looking temporary disappointments directly in the eye, accepting them as refreshing awakenings and rededications of purpose. Because that discomfort is evidence that your aim is pitched beyond your current limits, which is exactly where growth and evolution occur. Those trials are forging you into someone with the fortitude and resiliency to ultimately claim the victory you covet. The bigger and more inspiring your ambition, the more intense your baptism by fire will be. But so too does the grandeur of your spoils at the summit rise accordingly. What I'm describing isn't just some pep talk about positive attitude. It's a crystalline strategy for how you can claim profound abundance by erecting the right mindset and rituals. Because success in all its varied forms emerges from focusing all your available resources. Time, energy, creativity, passion, solely towards what produces abundance over the long term. It means shedding energy-draining distractions and deficits that detract from your mission. It means making judicious sacrifices to prioritize what matters most over transient desires and easy pleasures. It means ferociously guarding your vigor and intention from anything that could dilute or squander them. Does this sound harsh or extreme? Perhaps, but it's what's required. The unfortunate truth is that most people end up failing to steer their lives towards maximum fulfillment and abundance because they simply lack discipline. They keep compromising and allowing distractions to monopolize focus. Everything is treated with equal urgency, so very little ever gets their fullest saturation of energy and commitment. They dabble and disperse rather than channeling monomaniacal zeal towards a singular aim. Over decades, that lack of intestinal fortitude leads them to veer wildly off course to a life of regret and unrealized potential. You don't have to fall victim to that life wastage. You can choose the path of ascension, of viewing your life, your time, and your energies with sacred reverence, then channeling every last drop towards what sets your soul on fire. It starts with clearly defining a worthy ambition, or write it down and keep it ever present as your touchstone for decision-making. And slowly start purging habits, associations, and energy drains that detract from manifesting that ambition. No acts suffice, the trivial in service of the transcendent. Surrender shallow comforts for the chance to reach daring new heights. Die a little inside every day by forgoing cheap, temporary pleasures, and be reborn anew in a constantly expanding realization of your grandest potential. Does this sound intimidating? It should. This is not the path of mediocrity. This is not a prescription for the walking dead who seek to sleepwalk through life with minimal highs or lows. This is the fiery trail blazed by those who dare to author their destiny. This is how apostles, revolutionaries, and visionaries bend reality to their indomitable will. It requires sacrifice and discomfort. But let me assure you why the rewards of abundance, impact, growth, and self-actualization you'll experience make the trade absurdly lopsided in your favor. Those who knew me years ago would scarcely recognize the elevated version of myself I've become by living this doctrine. And just imagine the pride and satisfaction you'll feel looking back on your life one day. Imagine thinking I held nothing back. I gave every fiber of my being towards manifesting my greatest vision for this world. I didn't get derailed or dilute myself over cheap indulgences. I lived massively, left an inspirational legacy, and squeezed every last drop out of my finite life force. Can you conceive of a richer contentment than that? Can you put a price tag on the explosive growth and impact you'll catalyze along this path? Can you foresee every distant adventure and awakening awaiting you once you commit to single-mindedly pursuing the noblest ambition burning within you? I'm begging you all. That is the life waiting to be seized. Don't settle for trickling your power into shallow puddles. Don't fritter away your inheritance over baubles, paltry pleasures, and distractions. You are endowed with a magnificent reserve of energy and potential. Use this mortal window to channel it towards a profound and heroic aim. Liberate yourself from cravings, addictions, received assumptions, and any other psychic shackles binding you. Cast off the lizard-weights and anchors holding your ambition down. Prune away the habits and influences polluting your sacred wellspring of energy. Defend your focus like a parent shielding their child. Allow nothing insidious to contaminate your efforts. This is your life's journey we're talking about here. You get just one go-around on this earth to create something monumental and lasting, to etch your contribution onto cosmic tapestry. What could be more worthy of your impassioned totality than that? Of course. Even once you commit to this path of towering over the trifles and aiming solely towards your loftiest pursuit, you'll face obstacles and opposition. Both internal and external forces will conspire to try choking off your ascent. I've experienced this firsthand in the most visceral ways. As you start achieving any kind of uncommon success or output, you'll be bombarded with criticism and doubters at every turn. Who do you think you are? They'll sneer as you break from the herd. Come back down to our level. They'll plead as you pull ahead. It's the attitudes, habits, and belief systems that keep most people confined to mediocrity will strike back defensively against your soaring leap into rarefied air. Everyone wants the rewards, but few are willing to embrace the sacrifices required to ascend beyond the ordinary. So they'll try shaming you, ridiculing you, manipulating you to relinquish your heroic commitments. They'll accuse your extreme self-discipline of being sociopathic or obsessive, all while slowly rotting away themselves to hollow distraction and indulgence. It's in their minds. If they can't have the prize, then you don't deserve it either. But you must refuse to be deterred. You must stay boldly on the path, no matter how many arrowcats trying to pull you off stride. You must be willing to be disliked, ostracized, labeled as an eccentric or weirdo for prioritizing what matters most over cheap social comforts. Because the truth is always you simply can't serve two masters. You cannot simultaneously commit to realizing your greatest potential and ambition while also remaining a card-carrying member of the mediocre majority. Those two paths diverge, and you must be willing to be an outlier. Fortunately, this liberation from peer pressures and groupthink becomes exponentially easier when your focus is dialed in with laser-like intensity. When you're hurtling forward, fueled by monomaniacal zeal, the actions and opinions of the uninvolved fade into white noise. Those who mock and try restraining you from your path become increasingly irrelevant creatures, still playing games suited for children when you're pursuing the serious endeavors of a legendary life. So let them jape and scoff. You'll be too consumed executing your vision to be fazed. Developing this level of internal resiliency and resolute commitment takes time, however. The ability to unapologetically show the distractions, indulgences, and social approval of the herd the door in service of your mission doesn't arrive overnight. It must be cultivated through sustained choices and challenges that metallize your character. So start fortifying your interior constitution today. And start erecting bulwarks and discernment filters that automatically discard or diminish whatever attempts to divert you from your highest aims. when momentary temptations or self-destructive impulses call. Let them crash like waves against the rocky cliff face of your unbendable purpose. Yes, this requires ruthlessness and self-discipline in the extreme. I won't lie and pretend unleashing this level of live zeal for a worthy ambition is going to be easy or painless in the short term. You're going to have to forego parties, expensive indulgences, hours of mindless entertainment and recreation, banal socialization, and other trivial pursuits to an abnormal degree. And it will sting in the moment to be that person who turns down easy pleasures. But just as physical pain, it transmutes lifters into specimens of muscular supremacy, so too must you embrace the anguish of sacrificing passing cravings in service of your highest power. No profound metamorphosis of ability comes without immense effort that extracts a temporary toll. But if you're willing to pay that cost, growth acceleration awaits. So start getting comfortable being uncomfortable. Start showing your momentary fears, impulses, and self-doubts whose boss more and more often.